Hi.
Hey.
Can you introduce yourself a little bit for our audience?
Yeah, so I'm Matt Pryor, Creative Director on FIFA 18.
Okay, thank you. Right away, you're in the second year of the Frostbite engine. What do you think about the improvements?
I think this year you're going to see big improvements because last year we laid the foundation on the Frostbite engine, delivered an amazing game. You know, the journey was only possible through Frostbite. But basically the second year you really start to reap the dividends because you've got that kind of solid foundation, and then you can really start to work with the engine to get the most out of it. And I think you're seeing that this year with the improvement in visuals. You know, it's starting to kind of blur the lines between the real world and the virtual world. The players are starting to look spectacular. The atmosphere we can bring to the game through the Frostbite engine is huge. So I think you're really starting to see it kind of reap the rewards this year.
Do you think the Frostbite engine is going to its limits with the new improvements, or do you think there's space above?
Oh no, there's absolutely space. There's always optimizations we can do and improvements we can make. Certainly for us, it's a reasonably new system in that this is the second title we've brought out, and what you normally find is our very clever software engineers back at the studio are able to year on year kind of squeeze more out of it as they get used to the code. They optimize it and improve it. So yeah, this is just the start. It will improve year on year.
So can we say there is a word of PS4 Pro and Xbox One Scorpio in that part of the changes for the
so obviously we're kind of developing and we'll be utilizing the new hardware and all that brings and showcasing that through FIFA. So yeah, that will definitely be part of it.
Okay. Are there any news for the Nintendo Switch version which you are producing right now?
No, we can't really speak to that. That will be more rolled out over the coming month as we head to launch.
Okay. But the gameplay stays on the FIFA 18, or is there something?
I can't really speak to that. That will be part of the kind of announcement.
I knew that you would say that. So, okay. Talk about the women teams.
Right.
Are there any changes to it also? Apart from the gameplay we already saw?
Yeah, so the gameplay will obviously benefit the women's teams. We can't really speak to that again. I'm sorry to keep saying this, but that's kind of part of the rollout as we kind of head towards our launch. They will be back in it, and there will be a few things around that, but like I say, that will be kind of rolled out as we advance.
Let's talk about something you can talk.
Yeah.
The journey.
Okay, I can't talk that much about the journey, but yeah, that's good.
Okay, so Alex Hunter is back.
He is.
What do you think if new players are coming to FIFA? Are they getting some summary, or do you award people for having an old save game from the old one?
So if you have a save game from the old one, you will bring your Alex Hunter into it. So if you sign for Liverpool, that's who you'll start on. So there's that connection. We want to bridge that connection because you've got a lot invested in this character. It's important that we bring them over. For users new to FIFA, it's important that there wasn't a barrier to entry and they could just pick up the Journey 2 and play it. So there will be a previously on video where we kind of summarize what happened in the last one, and then at key moments in the early part of the journey there will be kind of ways we speak to what happened in the last one as well through the narrative as well. So naturally, so you get the previously on video, but then naturally within the narrative it will allude back to what happened in the previous one.
So you talked about new characters and new cast.
Yep.
Did you think about another person besides Alex Hunter for being the pro?
Right, so I mean we had a lot of ideas and you will meet a lot of new characters. I can say you will have the option to play as a different character in certain elements of the journey too, so there are other players you play within the journey. I can't really tell you much more about that, but yeah, there's a few surprises in there. We've had the people play it and the feedback was phenomenal. They really liked the story. It wasn't where they expected it to go. They thought it was very different in a good way. But yeah, I think it might not be what you're expecting.
Okay. So you said you're listening to users and to wishes.
Yep.
So the customizing is there now?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's something we kind of wanted to do in the last one. We just didn't really kind of get round to it. But Yeah, but I mean, when we announced the original journey, one of the big things was, well, can I create myself? It's kind of this. Yeah. Sports has set that precedent that you can in our game through the Be a Pro. But the reason we didn't was, and I think it was absolutely the right decision, as it's testament to the amount of people that have played the journey and the popularity. Yeah, one of the reasons we didn't do it, it then creates this kind of weird connection in that if you create it yourself, we put a voice in your head, so it is immediately not you. We either give you a backstory, which isn't your family and all the rest of it, or we don't give you a backstory, in which case it's not a very interesting narrative. So I think once people got their hands on the game, they realised why we went with a fixed character and kind of understood. And like I say, lots of people connected with him, very popular. But we always wanted to add an element of your Alex Hunter is your Alex Hunter and is different from my Alex Hunter. So that's where kind of customization comes in. So now we've got literally thousands of combinations of customization you can do, from the clothing through to hairstyles, through to tattoos. So it just adds that layer of uniqueness to it. So if you post a YouTube video of your journey, it might be very unique. It's the only one, because as of now, the thousands of videos that are out there on YouTube of the journey, Alex Hunter is always the same in it. So this will add a level of personality to it, and like I say, your Alex Hunter is your Alex Hunter, and only your Alex Hunter. Yeah.
Did you read the wishes from the fans for the next installment?
Yeah, I mean, we always take fan feedback into account. I mean, there's some things we can do, some things we can't do, but connecting with the fans and getting feedback is something we do throughout the game, not just the journey. So it's definitely something we look at. We get that feedback. One, for example, bit of feedback that affected the way we built the journey too was big decisions and big actions of those decisions. So there is some key moments in the journey too where you have a big decision that you have to make that will fundamentally change the journey in terms of like who you maybe see and who you don't, who's around you and who isn't. So that was part of the fan feedback, asking for that kind of thing.
Okay. Can you think of any fun wishes people had?
No. I mean, there's always that element of, as a fan, you want the story to be in your own world, your own world, and obviously that's limited. We can't, we have dozens of different leagues in the game, hundreds of different teams. So to make a unique story for each individual fan is not feasible. But I think the thing with the journey is you can connect with your team of choice in many other ways in the journey, in the game. If you want to play as, I want to play as Man City, there's many ways I can do that in the game. The journey is kind of a set story, so it's not that fantasy. So if you're a Hertha Berlin fan, you can play them in career mode and all the rest of it, but in the journey you kind of connect to Alex more than the team. And that's kind of the feedback we've got. There is that initial kind of, why can't I play with X? But then when you actually get into it, you connect with the character really well. And footballing is still the main kind of centerpiece of it, but it's almost who he's playing for is kind of side to the actual story you're living through. So even if you didn't connect to the team, you connected with the story, with the mode itself.
Okay. Cool. And if you think of the journey last year, it was new to the FIFA series. Do you think the improvements now in gameplay are part of that you introduced the journey last year?
I mean, gameplay. Obviously, any gameplay improvements we have go throughout the game, and there were certain, when we were making the journey, there were certain key features that we thought would be useful and augment the experience in the journey, because we've got a laundry list of gameplay features that we want to work through, so it's kind of deciding which ones to pick and which ones to do this year. Similarly, kind of presentation features, there was a lot of presentation features that supported the journey that then went into the main game. So a lot of the effort poured into the journey was realised throughout the rest of the game. And similarly this year around, it's a similar philosophy of, we identified certain key gameplay features like you sort of running into the crowd, which if you do with Alex Hunter is kind of a nice thing to do. So there's a lot of kind of crossover of features.
Okay, and just a short flash forward to FIFA Ultimate Team.
Right.
You told us that the icons are on all platforms now.
Yes.
Do we get the old ones back?
So we will be announcing who is going to be in the icons as we kind of roll out towards Gamescom. So I can't actually give you the fundamental list. All we're really announcing here is that they will be across all platforms, which is very exciting for your PS4 and your PC users. And the one we did announce here is he's not bad.
Okay.
Ronaldo. So a lot more exciting news to come on all of that as we kind of roll up to launch.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to Gamescom and to the end of September when we'll launch.
Lots of exciting stuff to announce between now and then. It wouldn't be much fun if we told you everything now.
Yeah, sure.
We want to keep you guessing.
Okay, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.